Hello, my friends. Welcome to this Facebook Live. I am Bess McCarty, coach for business and life, helping people with whatever blocks they run into and help their mindset, increase their positive thinking, let go of negative blocks, negative fears, negative beliefs, have a better life in all levels, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, health, wealth, love. This is a video column where you can come on and you can ask questions of anything. It could be about network marketing. I'm also called the shrink of MLM. It could be about any job, career, health, weight loss, relationships, communication, spiritual fulfillment, any of that. So welcome everybody. Hey Shamala, welcome. And welcome Rich. Glad to see you. So this column, I wanted to give you a message. First off, the column today is going to be how to communicate so you can get a win-win. A lot of people don't know this method of communication, or that there is such a thing, that there's an option to communication methods. Today, my first message to you is, you matter. I hear you. I'll respond. There's a solution to every problem. You're bigger than any problem that is before you. And the solution may not be far away. And you don't have to do it alone. I'll help. I'll share a coaching method called Real Conversation that I evolved. It's a self-help coaching method that can help people move from problem to solution in just minutes. So I will share that in a little bit, that method. Today is the topic, how to communicate in a win-win way. And it's very, very exciting. It's this very, very powerful method that has helped me all my life. When I learned it over 30 years ago from Marshall Rosenberg, it's called Compassionate Communication, or sometimes it's called Nonviolent Communication. You could find that book on Amazon, Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Compassion. Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Compassion by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. This has saved a lot of my relationships, both in work and in personal. It's helped me to have a good relationship with my ex-husband when we were raising our son together in separate households. I learned to say things in a way that would elicit cooperation rather than create defense or push people away. So it has been a lifesaver for me for over 30 years. It's the best communication model system that I teach to my students and clients. So I'm glad to share that with you. First, I want to say, if you're watching the replay, please type that in, because I would like to thank you for that. I'd like to hear where you're from. And what's the weather like where you are? It's kind of overcast here in fall day in Kansas. Winter's definitely coming so fast. But for some people, like in South Africa, where Shamala is, it's spring. So that's the 360-degree viewpoint, right? Not just where, things are different in other parts for other people. So, Rich, glad to see you. How you doing? If you would like to become a better communicator, please type yes, because this is the right place to do that. So, I'm going to start out with a little preface. Then I'm going to give you a formula for communicating. And that is a 4-step formula developed by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. And that is that you state the problem, or what you see, stated objectively, the problem, the feeling, the need, and then the request that you have of the person. So, first of all, I'm going to go through this communication model in just a moment. First, I want to say that it does not automatically cover all situations. It can't apply to every single situation that happens, domestic, at work, or anything in the neighborhood, or anything like that. It can apply to every single situation. Shamala says yes. All right. Shamala, the personal growth hound, dedicated person. I have to give you an award for showing up on my lives and Jeff's lives almost first every time. She's a front row seat person, a proactive person that's going to make things happen by working on herself and sharing with other people. A very wonderful, beautiful, big-hearted person. And welcome, Jim. How are you? Glad to see you. And so is Jim Bailey. These people are also students in our school, and Rich too. So we welcome you guys. I welcome you. So, communication. A few prefaces to Always learning. Yep. You can tell the personal growth people, they're very open to learning and to sharing both. And so, howdy from Utah. Yes, Jim is in Utah today with Jeff and Brandy. So hope you guys are having a blast. Thank you for tuning in. So this communication system applies to every single situation ever that I can ever think of. I've been using it for over 30 years. Very, very effective. But here's a tip on the very first preface to any communication is love. If your heart is open to that person or open to establishing a loving communication, love is the first communication rule, right? And it said that like if couples fight, they should fight correctly. They should fight together against the problem, not against each other. So this system helps people not to stand at opposite ends of the boxing ring, opposing corners of the boxing ring, but stand together against the problem. That is the correct way to fight. And I do like finding a win-win, a solution that both people can be happy with, that no one has to sacrifice their needs. The couple keeps going to find that solution until they're both of their needs are met. I don't believe anybody's human needs need to be sacrificed. There can be a way to find that both people's needs can be met in some way. Welcome, Michael. Glad to see you. If you know someone who could benefit from this and learning communication, I'd love if you tag them or if you shared another Facebook group right now so that people could be watching live too. This is really cool stuff. We're going to bring on the puppets in a minute and show you how this works. So, compassionate communication, again, teaches that, Marshall Rosenberg teaches that there are the 4 steps. There's the observation, the need, the emotion, the feeling, the need, and the request. Now, be careful with these. The observation is not like when you were a jerk and you didn't show up when you say you were going to. That's not a true neutral observation. It has to be like an observer, like a reporter would say. When you said you were going to meet me at the coffee shop at 10 a.m. and you didn't come till 11 a.m., that would be an objective reportable observation. Number 2, the feeling. I felt disrespected. That's not a feeling. A true feeling is really an emotion. I felt sad, I felt angry, I felt frustrated. That's a true feeling. And the number 3, what you were needing. I need you not to be a jerk. No, I need respect for my time. And then the request. Would you be on time or message me that you're going to be late? So that would be the request. When you didn't come at 10 o'clock, I felt angry or worried. Because the third, the need, because I value my time. And 4th, would you text me if you're going to be late and see if I can stay and wait for you? So those are the 4 steps. Excuse me. Welcome, Thomas. How are you today? So those are the 4 steps. Those keep the communication clean. If you state the observation in a neutral way, the feeling, the need, and the request, it keeps the communication clean versus criticism, judgment, blame, and demand. So let's see the difference. A lot of people don't know that there's a different way to communicate than the last one that I just said they think they have to be quiet and suck it up, or they have to criticize the other person. And so a lot of times we go back and forth because we don't like either of those alternatives. But there is a third alternative, a neutral way, which is a healthy way to get a win-win and to elicit people's cooperation rather than their defensiveness. So here's a couple of examples. And I brought the puppets today. Let's see, missing one of the puppets. There he is. Okay, these puppets actually I got from Marshall Rosenberg's organization, the Compassionate Communication Nonviolent Organization. And there's 2 puppets. One of them we're going to introduce first, and that is Mr. Giraffe. The giraffe was chosen by the Compassionate Communication folks as a symbol of the heart, as a symbol of that clear communication spoken with compassion, because a giraffe has that high view, that tall neck and that high view. And a giraffe also has the biggest heart of any land animal, I think besides a whale or something like that. So the giraffe has the heart and the high view. And these are some examples of compassionate communication that a giraffe speaking person or compassionate person could speak. Let's say that a wife is frustrated because her husband leaves underwear laying all over the house or clothes that he just leaves them, drops them wherever that he is, and she would like to see if that could be changed. And so what she could say to him, instead of saying I'm going to introduce the other character, who is the jackal. The jackal is the other puppet. The jackal is represented because, we can jackal ourselves, we can criticize ourselves or other people. So if it was the jackal talking to her husband, she might say something like, what's wrong with you leaving your underwear all over the house? Didn't your mother teach you anything to pick up after yourself? So what kind of feeling, what kind of response do you think she'd probably get back from her partner with that, from her husband? He might feel defensive because now he's just been criticized, so now he thinks he needs to defend himself against that. Like, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? It doesn't bother me. Why should it bother you? So here's something that she could say instead. From the giraffe's point of view, the compassionate communication model. Remember the 4 steps: observation, feeling, need, and request. So she might say something like, when I brought my coworker home with me for lunch, with me the other day for lunch, and I opened the door and found your underwear and socks and t-shirts strewn all over the living room, I felt embarrassed because I wanted my coworker to feel comfortable in the house and not see our personal underwear or your personal underwear around the house. Would you be willing to put it in the hamper? You see, that lets the husband in on her feelings, and therefore that elicits the option for him to be compassionate and understanding and being able to hear her. Versus, if you're a jerk, what's wrong with you? Didn't you learn anything as a kid? So that's criticism. Who can feel compassionate and understanding and who would want to help that person to have better feelings if they're being put down, right? So that is what the giraffe way of speaking can elicit more understanding and cooperation and get more likely to get what you want. Hello, Sun Wolf, welcome. So another example of this is, let's say network marketing. Network marketing. The person does not come to you, invite your team member, says, okay, bring in a speaker from the next state, because bring in your upline from the next state to speak, because I'm going to bring 8 people to the next opportunity meeting. And you get all excited, and you say, okay, so you bring in the speaker, and they're going to be great people. They're going to rock this business and everything. So you bring in the next speaker from, let's say, a few hundred miles away, and everybody's excited, and everybody gets there, and nobody shows up at the meeting. That person does not show up, and their 8 people did not show up, and so you feel angry. And so you might, if you were speaking from the jackal, your jackal self wants to say, right, is angry, and your jackal self says, you embarrassed me. Where were you, and where was the people? Why didn't you come? So you embarrassed me. That is a criticism, an accusation. And we want to own our feelings, right? Nobody can embarrass us. I feel embarrassed, so we own that. And here's how the giraffe might say it from the compassionate communication model. The giraffe could say something like, when you requested that my sponsor drive 4 hours to get to this meeting because you were going to bring 8 really eager people, we felt excited. When he went to this effort and drove all this way and arrived at the meeting and no one was there at all, not even you, we felt angry and disappointed because we like our effort to be worthwhile. In the future, can you follow through with what you say, or let us know ahead of time before he starts driving? See. And I guess you could also say, I felt embarrassed because I had promised him a good audience there. So, would you be willing to let us know a few hours ahead of time if it looks like you you yourself are not going to make it, so that we can better plan another time. You see, that would be compassionate communication. Welcome, Marnina. How are you? And welcome, Antonio. Marnina, I'm going to be in San Diego pretty soon. I'm going to be there a lot, actually, because I'm a new grandma. And so I'm going to be coming to San Diego in November and probably coming out there a lot to be a grandma. Maybe we can see each other. How are you doing? I hope well. Okay, so I'm sharing compassionate communication, which I'm pretty sure Marnina knows. And here's a third scenario with compassionate communication. Let's say that you have a work deadline that you and a coworker are going to work on together, and that coworker poops out and leaves all the work to you. So the jackal might say, okay, thank you, Marnina. Okay, so the jackal in you wants to say, I did all the work. What happened to you? We had that deadline and you pooped out on me. How could you do that to me? The giraffe might say, now do you think that would elicit the person's cooperation? Maybe you're just wanting to vent at that time, but maybe you're also wanting to plan ahead for next time that doesn't happen again. So the giraffe, that probably won't elicit their understanding or their cooperation, their understanding for how you felt, or their cooperation for next time. Good morning, Gail. Glad to see you. Gail is another counselor and coach, and I value your opinion of what we're sharing today. So here's what the giraffe might say instead of putting the other person down. The giraffe says, speaking from that compassionate communication model, remember there's the 4 steps. There's the observation, feeling, need, and request. And so the giraffe might say, when you agreed, when we were both assigned this project and a deadline to have it accomplished, and you agreed to it, I felt excited to do our work together because I like this project. But when you were missing in action, you did not show up to work with it on me, I felt scared because I wanted to get the work done on time and not give up my sleep. As it turned out, I gave up the sleep to get it done. And I felt angry because I wanted your teamwork. I enjoy working with you. And I wanted to get the deadline done. And I wanted to get sleep. I wanted all those 3 things. And next time, would you communicate with me or get a replacement for yourself in time to get it done? So that would be compassionate communication. That would elicit that person's understanding and hopefully cooperation for the next time. Now, so that's compassionate communication with you speaking. Okay, no problem. You can do it. Now, I'll tell you when it's hard. I'm learning this. I've been practicing it for over 30 years, but I'm not a master of it yet. There are times when I get triggered and I will say the wrong thing. So much fewer than 30 years ago, of course. So much fewer. I can catch myself and I can stop myself and say, now, Bess, what are you feeling, needing, and requesting? Rather than throw out a judgment or criticism. That happens so, like just, 5% of the time might I have a big reaction. But that's when it's hard to do. We can do it in our mind. I'll tell you, we can do it, in our mind. Fine, okay, now I got this down, right? But in the heat of the moment, when you're feeling emotional, that is when it's hard to remember to do this. So a key around that is take a breath before I speak and damage a relationship or say something that's going to be hard to repair later. Take a breath and see, what am I feeling? You know, what am I observing? What am I feeling? What am I needing? And what am I requesting of this person? Now, so that's if you're speaking. And say, let's say you got that down. But what if another person is speaking at you or even yelling at you? Like a scenario. What if you're a young person whose mom is mad, and the mom is saying to you, the mom is being a jackal, mom's saying, "What's wrong with you? You never return my texts. You know, don't you care about me? Are you too busy for your mom?" That would be a jackal. So what can you do? You can translate. You can come in as the giraffe, and you can translate. And you can say, you can translate that into those 4 steps: the observation, the feeling, the need, and the request. You can say, "Mom, are you frustrated when I don't return your texts within 2 days? Are you frustrated because you wonder where I am and if I care about you?" Yes, that's right. That's what I said. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you care, or that you're worried if I'm okay. Let's see, what would you like me to do? So now the giraffe is asking for the request. Would you like me to return your text sooner than that? Yes, of course I would. Then I'll know you're okay, or that you love me. Okay. I will try to do that. I can try to return the text within 24 hours, but I need you to understand that sometimes I might be at work or sleeping or just too tight to send a nice text back. It might just be, I really need about 24 hours or more. And if I don't remember that I will get back to you. It just might not be that fast. But I'll try to do it within 24 hours. Okay, that would be better. Right away would be better. But I understand you're working sometimes. Yep. And I know that you're retired, and so you might be kind of removed from the work world where it gets kind of crazy with kids, work, husband, all this stuff. And the daily duties that you might be a little bit out of touch with what that feels like nowadays, and you might feel lonely and wish for a text back sooner. I can understand that. Yeah, darn right. So that's an example. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. Glad to see you. How are you? And I'm getting some congratulations for being a grandma here. Thank you very much. So I hope that helps. What these were is the jackal within ourselves. Whoopsie. The jackal within ourselves and the giraffe within ourselves. And sometimes these, which one is speaking, right? The critical, blaming, judgmental person, or the compassionate person who can speak neutrally and own the feelings. Like when you didn't show up, I felt embarrassed, instead of you embarrassed me. Right? That's never true. Nobody can ever make us feel anything. Our feelings are our right, and they're always a choice. So we take responsibility. When you didn't show up, I felt embarrassed. Next time, would you, da-da-da. So that is the difference between communication that can hurt relationships, or even not get you what you want, which is not a win-win, or communication that works for a win-win, where both people understand each other, and that's the compassion. The developer of the system, Marshall Rosenberg, actually was brought into warring countries to bring understanding between people, and therefore saved many lives. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. You can find that book again on Amazon. It's called Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Compassion by Marshall Rosenberg. And I hope you enjoy that. And I am currently stonewalling. Gail writes, I'm currently stonewalling. I feel hurt, angry, and have no desire to communicate at the moment. Fortunately, to communicate in a compassionate manner. Maybe in a day or two. I have no desire to face the jackal. And so, yes, you don't always have to do it. You can say, thanks, Gil, that's a great point. To say, I'm not in the mood right now to be a giraffe. I am too stuck in being a jackal. And what I like to do is I like to write it out. Write out all of your anger and all of your judgments about that person, all the stuff they did wrong. Sit with it for a little while until you feel like you're ready to get into the the giraffe mode. And then you have to think, well, do I even want to communicate with that person? Is that a relationship that I want to work for and build on? Maybe it's not. Maybe I just, I'd rather focus on my relationships that I care about and that I want to invest myself in. Maybe that person that did that to me, I just let it go and not worry about, getting back to them. If it's not a relationship that I care about nurturing and building and working for. So we have to make those choices. And if it is, maybe I want to wait a few days before I can get. I usually will often take a couple of days to come down, and I'll journal about it. I'll watch my dreams. I'll stew about it for a while, and I think, okay, I'm ready to get into being a giraffe or the compassionate person now, and let me see what I can learn about it as well. Let me see if there's anything of that person in me. And then all of a sudden I have lots of compassion for that person, right? When I say, oh, that's me, I do that too, actually, if I'd be honest. And I'd look, and I'll find where I do that too. So, and Gail says, thank you for that feedback. You betcha. Thank you. Anybody else have a tip, a takeaway, a question? Something that you got from this, a question you have. You can post it even after we close. We'll keep the discussion going. Remember that you can private message me any question that you want responded to. Not that I have the answers, but I will respond to it on the Ask Bess video column every Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern time. So you can private message me, say I want this to be anonymous. A lot of people do that. I'll respond to it. You can leave a question below in the comments too. And it was helpful. Oh, thank you, Gail. See, I love this back and forth stuff because you're bringing up good points that help everybody. So I told you I would share with you the compassionate communications. The real conversation system that I developed. It's a self-help method, and it follows very interestingly similar to the 4 steps. The real conversations method is with ourselves, where we ask ourselves, what is the problem or challenge that I have? What is the emotion under that? What is the unmet need under that? Because every problem is really a sign of an unmet need. Every problem is really the sign of an unmet need. And then how can I meet that need in a healthy way? So it follows the 4 similar steps to the compassionate communication. So I have some free tools for you to learn this, and I will post that in the link below. It's at bessmccarty.com/Real Conversations Class. And I will post a link to that. You can either get the free tools there, or if you wish to have more live support, there is a class on Tuesday nights called the Real Conversations Class. And some of the people here are in that class. And that is on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's confidential to that group. It is not recorded for confidentiality. You can dial in. You can get live coaching and help with any issue that you're working on, or you can listen in and benefit from every single other person who goes. You learn something from that. So I will post that class, Real Conversations. It is a dynamite reality show, you guys. Live coaching, live issues, tackled right then, coached in the class. So I have those 2 things for you, the free tools. I'll post a link to that, and the class that anybody can join. It's more affordable than private coaching, and so it's a solution for people who want some live help with real conversations as well. And internet down. Okay, thank you everybody. I'm going to conclude here, put those links for you. Hope this was helpful today. If it was, I'd love to hear your takeaway. I'd love if you shared it with somebody and spread the help. Because everyone, all problems, etc., are communication problems. So this is like one of the best lives, the best tips and things that I could ever give you. I hope that it's beneficial, and that I'll put a link to that book where you can get that too. And thank you, Marnina. Good to see you on here. Thank you for joining in, everyone. And we'll see you next Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern Time for Ask Bess. Take care. Bye-bye.